my next
For the sake of
question.
good football analysis, for the sake of good football, can we not talk about Carabao Cup? Carabao Cup is an
That's
insult.
is it a trophy or not? Did you
Let's
compete
move
in
to
that
my
trophy?
let's
Did you
move to my next
compete also?
question now.
Okay, next question.
So, these two players, they're actually three people compare about because the third team is not here. So I'm just going to bring two of them:
Okay.
Partey and
Oh,
Casemiro.
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Partey, Casemiro.
There's no need.
You have to
He,
pick the better midfielder. Who is it going to be?
you know
Frank,
what?
let me start with you. I started with Kitty, so
I would have let him start because this is going to be a short conversation because he's going to agree with me that it's Casemiro. If he's a reasonable Arsenal fan, he will agree with me that it's Casemiro. But let's just say, let me just give my points and just see if he's going to do the reasonable thing and then say the truth. But then again, Arsenal fans can be delusional, so they might just say Partey is the world best. So that's by the way. But we are talking about like, where do we start from with Cassie? Where do we start from with that little boy? Are we talking about his achievements in Real Madrid and all he has done? Because this is not just this season. He's been the best defensive midfielder for over 10 years. I'm not just talking about this season. But if you want us to make it this season, so it would be a little bit fair, and then maybe Partey can have a conversation. A little, because ordinarily, if you're checking over the span of 5, 6, 7, 8 years, Partey is not even top 10 in defensive midfielders. But let's just say for the sake of this season, Arsenal's attack is doing so well, so they're not seeing his lacks. And they're not seeing that if you meet Partey one-on-one, it's as easy as just wiping through, just breezing through him. Okay, but that's by the way. Casemiro is more defensive. Casemiro is more offensive. What I mean by defensive is if it's about who reads the game, who's going to mark the right spaces, who's going to block, who's going to tackle, do the right tackles. Of course, it's Casemiro. I know he has red cards going on right now with him. Most of it are, of course, the FA. We all know that. We all know that the referees make so many mistakes. Some of them, because if you check like the tackle against Chelsea, Leicester City, it was also the same. It was also the same, but no red card was given. VAR didn't even have to look at it. But of course, when it comes to Casemiro, they always want to check it because he plays with that passion. So everything he does, even when he does a legal tackle, he does it very hardly, and then everybody just assumes it's a bad tackle, but it's not. So tackle-wise, Casemiro. Scoring-wise, Casemiro. Leadership, Casemiro. Assist, passes, Casemiro. Like even if we streamline it and make it just a Premier League argument, Casemiro has more goals and assists compared to Partey. I think Casemiro has three assists and 2 goals. Partey has 3 goals and 0 assists. So if you check it, the goal and assist contribution, and that's 5-3. Like, and you have to understand this is somebody that is just entering the Premier League. He doesn't. I'm not even sure he has a house in England yet, and he's tearing up the Premier League like this. But this is Partey that has been in Arsenal, has learned their system, and you have to understand something too. The way Arsenal plays, a lot of the work done is not just left for Partey. Shaka helps him a lot because Shaka plays in that deep role also for him. So Arsenal plays a defensive and then a holding midfield, a holding defensive midfielder, and then like an assistant. I won't say Saka is like a defensive midfielder for say but he does a lot of assisting for the defense for Partey in that midfield. He does a lot. Odegaard is the one that has that free roaming around and everything. But in Manchester United, Casemiro has ticked every box to the point where even Licha, he would tell Martinez, "Go forward, don't worry, bump forward, don't worry." Lindelof, Varane, go forward. I got you. I can cover for you. We've not had that in a long time, and as soon as immediately we had that, everything changed. Manchester United were battered the first 2 games of the season. We were battered because we were still using Maguire and the rest of them, and McTominay, and Fred. We were beaten like kids. Like, you have no idea how happy most Manchester United fans are of how the season started because we would have just been managing those mediocre players the whole time. But as soon as Casemiro came, there was an identity because it's not just about him himself. It makes everybody else better because he's giving everybody license to go forward. Manchester United for the first time we're playing Eriksen, and Eriksen is not defensive. Obviously, we all know that. Eriksen is a creator, just like Bruno. So he gives them license to go forward. Like, don't worry, we don't have to play 2 pivotal fours. We don't have to play 2 fours. I got it. I can take care of it. Oh, Martinez, you want to go for a corner for a header? Go, 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 go. I got so with that covering he gives us cannot be quantified. So of course we all know that one has one trophy over the other in the Premier League because one has won the Carabao Cup and one is still hoping that he will win the Premier League. So, but let's just leave that alone. But no reasonable Arsenal fan would even put Partey in the third position because if you have to put Rodri obviously as second because if a Man City fan is here, he would agree with you that Rodri would even be above Partey. But I won't make the argument for them. But for me, Casemiro hands down. Casemiro hands down. I
Okay,
didn't
Okay.
banter.
Kuti,
I
Can I
didn't
what
banter
do
talk?
you
this
have to
time.
say?
Can I
I didn't
talk?
banter.
Okay.
I didn't banter you this
First of
time because
all, first of all, first
you
of
said
all,
don't
first
say
of all,
non-football facts. But no, we're not going to attack his character because Partey is a good player. Partey is a good player, but his nerves is not close. You can be comparing Partey and Fred or something. Not Casemiro. Casemiro is not. Casemiro is a worldie. Partey is a top player. Casemiro is a worldie. You know, there are levels to this. There are levels to this.
okay. So first of all, is an insult, a very big insult. For you to be comparing Partey, for you to be talking of Partey and Fred in the same sentence, that shows how low your football IQ is. For you to be putting Partey and Fred in the same statement, that's one. Two, um, I appreciate Casemiro for what he has done in football. When he was in Real Madrid, he was a superb DM. And moreover, it was a systemic achievement. It was in the Real Madrid team that dominated Europe for so long. Even at that point in time, I don't think there's been ever any time Casemiro was singled out as the best DM in the world, even when Madrid was top. There was a Kante. There was a Kante that people were regarding as the best DM in the world. Even Busquets was regarded, is highly rated than Casemiro in La Liga. So even at the peak of
Was Partey in La Liga then? I would like to think he
yes, it
was in
was
La.
in Atletico Madrid.
Was it
Yeah,
top 10? Was it top 10?
no, but listen to me. Listen, I'm getting somewhere. So even at the top of his
And
career
even now that Real
In Real
Madrid, you
Madrid,
said you said he
even at
left
the
Real
top of
Madrid
his
and he was
career
moved
in
up.
Real Madrid, whereby
Wait,
he was
Casemiro
in
has
the
left Real
team.
Madrid. Casemiro has
Hello,
left Real Madrid right
hello,
now. Where
hello.
are Real
Let me
Madrid on the
talk.
table? Where are
Let
Real
me
Madrid on the
talk.
table since
You
he left?
started your
Where are Real
argument.
Madrid on the
You
table?
started your argument with Real Madrid. You said he has won numerous trophies. He didn't win numerous trophies in Man U. He won it in Real Madrid. So you started your argument with Real
No.
Madrid, and that's why I'm coming from Real Madrid.
Okay, now
Listen.
that Real
So
Madrid,
then
you
in
just
Real Madrid that you're talking about, he was
yeah.
in a world-class team, and he was not even singled out as the best DM, even then. In terms
So
of
what is going
midfielders,
on now with Real
Modric,
Madrid?
Modric,
What is
Toni
going
Kroos
on
was way ahead of
ever
you.
since
So,
Casemiro left Real
hello,
Madrid?
let me
Has there been
talk.
that
Let
gap
me
in the
talk. I gave
midfield or
you
not?
up to
No, no.
10 minutes
Tell
to
me.
talk.
Has there been that gap in the midfield since he left Real Madrid? Since he was moved from Real Madrid to Manchester United? How are Madrid
Can
playing?
I
Where are they?
can I talk? I'm not a Real
No, no.
Madrid
If you can,
fan. They
you
should
you
answer their
interrupted me and
question.
asked me a
They
question.
should answer the
You
question. I gave you
interrupted
10
me.
minutes to talk.
You interrupted me and
I
asked
gave
me a
you 10
question. I
minutes.
would
Are
like
you
to
going
think
to
I can
allow
do the
me to
same.
just do this?
You did the
It's
same
not
thing.
allowing me talk. It's
You
not
did the
allowing me
same thing.
talk. I gave you 10 minutes to defend Casemiro. Let me defend Partey.
It's not 10
So,
minutes. Mm-hmm.
so I mean, yes, even in Real Madrid, he was not even considered the best midfielder. So it was easy for Real Madrid to sell him to you guys. He was not that a spectacular player in Real Madrid. If not, Real Madrid won't sell him.
You should ask
But yeah,
Lorenzo Perez what he
Real
thinks right
Madrid,
now.
Real Madrid sold you Casemiro. Like I said earlier, Manchester United has been deprived of good players that when they see average players, they think they are world best. I can't imagine. I can't remember the last time Manchester United had a good midfielder like that. Imagine you guys have suffered with McTominay, Fred, and the likes of just people you had in the midfield. So yeah,
I'm
Casemiro
Fred.
coming, it looks like no, he has Casemiro coming, it looks like oh, he has built a world-class team. Number one, so that I clear your doubts. You shout Casemiro has built your team. You guys are 20 with Casemiro. You guys are 20 points behind the team that is leading. You guys are closer to fighting for top four than fighting for the league with your Casemiro that has
We're
transformed
not
your
fighting
team.
for the league. We never came into the
Hello,
Premier
hello,
League.
hello, hello, hello. You guys,
We didn't start this season thinking we're going to win the
let
league.
me
We were never in a
finish.
race for
Let me finish, please. With your Casemiro that has transformed your team. You guys are fighting for top four, not even top two. You guys won Carabao Cup. You are shouting as if you won Champions League. Good.
and the Europa. And FA
Thirdly,
Cup.
thirdly,
You saw
when you are talking about his defensive midfield, scoring and assisting is secondary. Let's talk about their primary function, preventing their teams from scoring. You guys have considered more goals than Arsenal.
no.
You guys have considered more
That's where
goals
you are
than
wrong.
Arsenal with your
That's where you
Casemiro.
are wrong. No, that's where you are wrong.
Hello,
Also,
let me finish.
Casemiro,
Let me finish.
Casemiro cannot.
Let me
Okay, go
finish.
ahead.
You
Go
said
ahead. Go ahead.
Casemiro is a better defensive midfielder. He knows how to
Go
tackle you,
ahead.
whatever. You guys have considered more goals than Arsenal this season with your Casemiro in the midfield. In terms of discipline of a defensive midfielder, Casemiro is not disciplined. He's the first player to get 2 red cards in a season. He's going to miss up to what God knows how many matches. It's not my fault. It's the discipline of your player.
No,
He should be disciplined as a defensive midfielder.
It's a witch hunt.
He's a world class.
It's a witch
He's
hunt
a
by the
world class
VAR.
midfielder. He's a world
It's a
class
witch
midfielder.
hunt.
So he should know when to go for a tackle and not when to go for a tackle. In terms of defensive contribution, if you look at their stats this season, Partey has more defensive contribution than Partey and than Casemiro. Yeah, Casemiro has more assists than him. Assist is secondary to Partey. His work is to be a defensive midfielder to prevent us from scoring, to prevent opponents from scoring us. And has he done that? He has done that perfectly well. And now look at his contribution to his team. Partey is in a team that is leading the table. For goodness sake, is in a team that is leading the table. How can you pick somebody that his team is struggling to enter top 4 and say that person is a better player than somebody that his team is leading the table? That's an insult to football.
We're fighting on all fronts.
In fact, look at it this way. You and I know, okay, Alisson is one of the best goalkeepers in Premier League. But they did call him to the Brazil team. Why? As a virtue of his team. It's not as virtue of his papa, as a virtue of his team. So if you can't contribute to the success of your team, then you are used as your team.
But is it contributing to the success of his team, or he's just been exposed because of the lacks of the other players in his team?
Partey, Casemiro right now, yes, he shows one or two individual brilliance. Manchester United have been lacking in quality players. So when
I take exception to that, but continue.
They see it as world best.
I know you're a Liverpool fan.
You have been lacking in quality players. So when you see a good player, you think as well better. And I'm going to give you an example. We've talked of Garnacho, we've talked of Rashford, you guys have talked of Martinez, you guys have talked of a whole lot of average players thinking that they are the best because your team has improved a bit. Bro, you guys are not yet there. Partey and Casemiro this season, if you compare, I'm not comparing when Casemiro was in Real Madrid. No. This season, Partey has had more contribution to Arsenal than Casemiro has had to Man U, and the result is showing with the team that is leading. To me, Partey is a better player than Casemiro. In fact, it's even very visible to the blind. When you watch the match, you see who is a better player, is more composed. For those of us that know how to play football, I don't know of you. I don't think you know how to play football, so you don't understand.
Ball scores.
You model your game around someone like Partey. He's so calm in possession. He rarely misplaces passes. His tackles are always. Yeah, compared to Casemiro against Liverpool. You had a Casemiro against Liverpool. You considered 7 goals.
It was a
blip goal.
I'm not even ashamed of that. It was a blip. It was a blip.
7 goals is not a blip, my brother.
Yes,
7
it was
goals
a blip.
No. Against the world class Casemiro, they finished him. Look at the Liverpool midfield. He was dead. Mind you, this season, Arsenal, all matches Arsenal has lost this season, Partey did not complete the match. It's either he was brought in or he didn't even play at all. Arsenal has not lost a match where Partey was playing, not to even talk of conceding 7-0. Bro, relax.
In the Premier League, right? In the Premier League. No, slow down.
Premier League hero, Carling Cup. I'll tell you. Against Man U.
What is my?
Listen. Against Man U, we lost. Against Man U, the first match we lost in Premier League, Partey didn't play against Man U. Against Everton, that we lost 1-0. Listen, I'm not done. Against Everton, that we lost 1-0, Partey was brought in. In fact, no, Partey was removed. It was after Partey was removed, they scored. Against Brighton, the same thing. Partey was brought in. Against Man City, Partey didn't play. He was injured. He didn't play. Against Sporting, even the second leg against Sporting was brought in. There's no match Arsenal has lost this season that Partey played 90 minutes. That's to tell you the player that contributes. Your player was there. You guys considered 7 freaking goals. 7 up.
I've told you. A competition is on all fronts. Manchester United are still in the Europa that you guys just crashed out of by little kids, Sporting. Manchester United just won the Carabao Cup, of course. after smashing everybody. The competition that you also played.
You did not smash
Manchester,
everybody. You smashed stupid
Manchester
teams.
United
You smashed
are in the
stupid
FA
teams.
Cup.
You didn't even play
Manchester
any
United are
team
in
in
the FA
Premier
Cup
League. Top five
semi-finals.
teams in Premier League.
Manchester United are the FA Cup semi-finals against Brighton, a competition that you crashed out way back ago. So, in all these four fronts, you've been sticking to one Premier League. But no, the
So
competition
that's the
where
most prestigious.
multiple.
That's the most prestigious. That's the most difficult to win.
That's what you
That's why
think.
you're 20
But
points behind.
a lot of factors can
To
play
tell you how
in the
poor you are, you
season.
even have just 9 goal difference. No, 6 goal difference. 6 goal difference. Six.
Are you done?
Six.
Are you done?
No. This is
Are you
this.
done? The fact that
Please don't bring
Manchester
me
United,
this Man guy again. 6 goal
I know my
difference. Six.
team.
They are going to
I know the
They
lacks.
can't score.
If we had a combined 11 now, of course you guys will have, whoever you guys have in front of goal as for the striker position. Unless we put Rashford as 9, and then we might have to put Martinelli, because I also like Martinelli. I think he's a good player.
You don't have a
But
choice. You have to
slow
like
down, slow
those
down.
guys.
Like
If you like the ball,
that's
you
how
have to like those
open-minded I
guys.
am. That's how open-minded I am. But don't tell me for 1 minute that Partey is better than Casemiro, because if you check our
I
back for the
I
longest
just
time,
need about 5 minutes to tell you how Partey is
slow
better than
down.
Casemiro this season.
Because if you check me, because everything you said was babash. Because in all these competitions, he had no factor in it, because you guys crashed out of all of them. And you've been saying Premier League the whole
Partey
time.
didn't
There
play.
are so many factors.
Partey
There's so
didn't
many
play.
factors contributing to
Partey
where
didn't
a
play.
player is in the table. Manchester United didn't come into the season saying we
Partey
wanted to
didn't
win the Premier
play.
League.
Partey
We
didn't
didn't
play.
come
All
into
the matches
we
he
didn't
crashed
come
out,
into the
Partey
season.
didn't play.
Slow down. We didn't come into the season saying we wanted to win the Premier League. We came into the season saying we want to make top 4. That is what in every Manchester, because it was a trial period. This was
So
a new manager coming from.
after saying they are
This
coming to
was
this league to
slow
come and
down,
win the
slow
league,
down, slow
did
down.
after
Listen,
saying that they
listen.
were coming to win the league,
You
did
said you were
after
going
saying
to
they were
listen.
coming to win the league,
I let
did
you listen.
after saying they were coming to league,
You said after 4 years,
did
after a
after
4 years
saying they were
project.
coming to win the league,
Stop arguing. Stop arguing. You're not making me make a point. We had a manager come from the Dutch league. We didn't know how he was going to cope in the Premier League. Of course, we knew we had a dilapidated team in the EPL. So we're like, oh, if he can take us to top 4, then we can build from there.
excuse,
To show you how amazing it has been. No Manchester United player expected us to be at this level this quick. Next year, we can comfortably say we can fight for the Premier League title, and I don't think anything will be able to stop us because of the signs we've seen. We incorporated some world class players. Improved on some very good players that are here, and then we're going to have some
Vegas is what
beautiful
class.
additions.
Vegas.
Arsenal. Like I told you this earlier. Saka
I
does
told you.
and
I
Saka
told you
does
it's what
a
class.
helping
I
role.
told you.
Saka does
Malasia.
a lot of work for Partey. So you saying, oh, because Partey is here, that's why we don't concede. That's not true. Because even in games that Partey has played, you guys have conceded. Are we telling me that there's a clean sheet every time Partey is playing? No. So you guys concede a lot too with Partey in the team. So
No, we have the
defense,
second
slow down.
highest clean sheet in Premier League.
Slow down.
Take that. Second highest
In
clean sheet in Premier League.
you have
Second
13 clean
highest clean sheet in Premier League.
You have 13 clean sheets. I have 12. What are you talking about? Check David De Gea. He has 12
With
Premier League
minus
clean sheets.
6. With
You have
minus
13.
6.
You have 13. I have 12. So what are you
We
talking
have
about?
the
That's not even an argument.
second highest
So
clean sheet
the
in Premier League.
virtue of a
Second
defense,
highest clean sheet in Premier
the
League.
virtue of a defense is played by 4 men and a keeper. So if, for
And
instance,
your defensive
Maguire
midfielder.
decided to play with Casemiro and does an own goal, it's going to be on the start sheet. Analytics will tell you, yes, Casemiro was
But
there
Maguire has
when
not
he
played with
considered.
Casemiro.
So I'm just
Maguire
giving
has
you an
not played with
example. Slow
Casemiro.
down, slow down. I'm
Casemiro
giving you
has
an
played
example of
with
how
some
I'm giving you an
world-class
example of
defense,
how
Varane,
if you want to compare
Martinez,
a player,
Luke Shaw, and
compare a
Dalot.
player on his own merits, on his own attributes, on the things he brings to the court. Don't bring in what the other things the team is doing. Because if, for instance, Wan Bissaka decided to slide somebody in the box and gets a penalty and they score a penalty, he's on the field, right? It will show on
It's
the
not my
analytics that
business. It's a
it will
collective
show on
effort.
the
They are supposed to
analytics.
be a
It will
defensive
slow down.
unit.
You're not listening.
They are
If you
supposed
listen,
to be a
you will learn.
defensive
If
unit.
you listen, you will learn. That's the
It's
thing.
not my
Arsenal fans,
business.
they have
It's not my
blockheads.
business.
That's the thing. So the fact that you have Gabriel, and you have Saliba, and you have those other average players on the wings, those two average players you have on the wings, then And then you have Ramsdale that is improving, that's trying, that has not also made number one team. Your keeper is not even number one in the England squad, as because with the whole clean sheets, he's not. He's probably number three in the choice in England. But then again, we can, if
Wait,
I
is
don't
the
trust
gear number
anything.
one in Spain? Is the
I
gear
don't
number
trust.
one in Spain?
The guy has been number one
Is
for
the
the
gear
longest
number
time.
one in
The
Spain?
guy is an old man. He's been number one for the longest time, and you cannot compare the caliber
Go
of
and sit,
keepers
go and sit down.
The
Go and sit down.
Spanish team have, the caliber of
Go and
keepers the
sit
Spanish
down.
team have to the caliber of. He's being benched by Pope and Jordan Pickford. Come on, Pickford is a calamity waiting to happen, but he's starting ahead of Ramsdale.
But I
So,
just
don't tell me that whole clean sheet.
he just spoke about how Southgate is dumb.
Don't tell
He
me
just
that
spoke
clean
about how
sheet.
Southgate is dumb. Some
Oh,
minutes
now
ago, he
you're.
spoke about how
Oh,
Southgate is dumb.
so now you're
You see, you are
supporting me
just
without
contradicting
Southgate.
yourself. You are
So now
contradicting
you're
yourself.
supporting me. But you were making points. You were saying analytics. The thing with analytics is the stat sheet can say anything it likes. It can say, who has completed more dribbles? Who has done this? And then when you calculate it, you see, Anthony is this good. Anthony is perfect. He has run past so many players, more than everybody else in the Premier League. Some players, if you look at the stats as the analytics itself, distance covered, all those things, set maxima, distance covered, all those things, you will think, wow, they're tearing the Premier League. But they're not. Or Adama Traore, wow, distance covering the field. So you saying, oh, we have the best clean sheet and we have this, it doesn't tell how good a player is. It doesn't at all. Those are just
Let me
analytics.
teach you
You
something
watch
today.
football.
Let me
There's
teach you
something
something
called the eye
today. Let me
test.
teach you something
If you
today.
use the eye
Let me
test,
teach
if you
you
use the
something
eye
today.
test, you will see
Eye test is
that
subjective.
Casemiro is
Eye
way
test
better.
is subjective. Eye test is subjective. Let me teach you
Well,
something today.
I know you
When
use
you
glasses,
analyze,
so
when
I know
you
you can.
analyze, bro, when you analyze players and you analyze them based on their individual statistics, you now take them and go and look at their contribution to their team. That is what happens, and that is how they analyze players. So yes, you
Exactly,
look at
and in that
look at
same way,
Maximas,
Casemiro is
bro.
better because Casemiro has
Look at
more goals
look at
and
Adama
more
Traore.
assists.
Look at Adama Traore. It's
More
like you said,
goals
you can
and
look
more
at his stats.
assists.
Oh,
So who has
distance
more
covered, blah
contribution?
blah blah
Who has
blah
more
blah.
contribution now? He has
Partey
more
has
goals,
more
more assists.
contribution.
He
What
has
are you
more goals,
saying? They
more
score the
assists.
same
So
amount of
what are you
goals.
talking about contribution?
They have the same amount of goals.
One has won the Carabao Cup also. So what are you talking about goals and contribution?
One
What are
is
you talking
topping
about
the league.
contribution?
One is
What are you
topping
talking
the
about
league.
contribution now?
One is topping the league.
No, topping the league is not. This season is not over. You can crash out of the league. You have like 9 games to
But
go.
it's still
You could get
topping.
back-to-back defeats,
It's still
and that's the
topping.
end of it. That's
It's
it.
still
See,
topping.
Arsenal. No,
It's
you are
still
topping the league
topping.
exactly. You are not going to win the league. Like you are topping the league. You
Okay.
might win the league, but it's not certain. But we already won a trophy, and we're closer because we're in the
I just
semi-finals.
thought we agreed. Moderator, I just thought we agreed to just talk about Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup is an insult to this conversation.
Carabao
You
Cup
cannot
is
post
a
this thing.
trophy.
You cannot
Is a
post this thing
trophy.
to the you cannot post
If
this
it
thing to
wasn't
the net
important,
where people will be watching and
Arsenal would
you are
have
talking
reclined
about
to finish.
Carabao Cup.
Did
Carabao
you
Cup
play in the
is
competition?
a
Did you play in the
non-consequential
competition?
cup.
Did you
Nobody
play in the
takes it
competition?
serious. Carabao Cup is a very useful cup.
Is the Europa
It's
League
only when
serious?
Man U wins Carabao
Is
Cup,
the
the whole
Europa
world,
League serious?
the whole world do not hear word. The
Is the
same thing when
FA Cup
Mourinho won
serious?
it.
Is the FA Cup serious?
Liverpool won it last season. In fact,
Is the
I'm very sure
FA
you can't
Cup?
even remember that
Is
Liverpool
the
won
FA
Carabao Cup.
Cup? Is the FA Cup
So
serious?
FA Cup is way better than Carabao Cup.
Is the FA Cup serious? Are you in the FA Cup?
Yes, FA Cup is serious.
Is the Europa serious? Are you in the Europa League?
No, Europa is serious. I'm not there. I
Okay,
can't be in
good.
all
So
competition.
your point is not valid because you have crashed out of every competition and you are hoping that okay, I win the league with a lot of time to go. And I tell you, the way Arsenal is playing, it only takes back-to-back defeats. April is the most trying times for you guys.